What is up, Pyromaniacs? Pyrostasis here. We're back in the world of EVE Online. Continuing on with our Alpha to Omega series. And I put up a poll about 24 hours ago. It was for the last video that we did. And the video basically was, what do you guys want us to do with the series? Because the series is, for me, I figured out everything I wanted to figure out, which was what is the most cost-effective way to go from Alpha to Omega? And the answer is exploration, hands down. There's nothing else in the game that I know of that can compete. The only thing that might be roughly as quick is if you nut hug somebody doing like Angel Haven or like top end combat anomalies. That would be about the only thing that would keep up. If you had like a super doing them and he didn't want to do the loot, and you had multiple tracking units scarfing all of his shit, then maybe it would keep up for the most part. But the problem is, you got to find somebody who's willing to do that, and you've got to be able to keep up with them. You've got to be able to constantly, because each site has 2 to 3 inventories worth of loot, you got to constantly be able to, go and dump that stuff, and it's a pain in the ass. So for me personally, definitely not worth it. This is all of the stuff that we pulled out. Interesting. I thought I already dumped this stuff. Did I not? Minus that. I'm gonna keep those. Put them in an item hanger. Wait a minute. Stack all. Okay, that's different. That's 50 million on 2 sites. Okay, I may be a little dumb then. I mean, that wouldn't be the first time. No. That stuff was in no deliveries, please. How was that? Okay, so that's, I'm mixing 2 different things. This is, okay, yes. Derp. That's what happens when you don't play the game in a couple days. The stuff that I just pulled out of this ship is exploration stuff that is now mixed in with the salvage stuff. So, yes, if we were able to pull 50 million per 2 sites, definitely worth it. Definitely we should be doing this and nothing else. Unfortunately, that's not what happens. So, I did a poll with you guys, and the options were cut bait and finish the character. What that basically would mean is I would transfer Plex from my main character. This character would then cease all operations outside of industry. We would maximize all of his industrial skills immediately. And what that means is I probably would do a little bit of injection, and this character would be my PI and all of the industrial stuff. I wouldn't go into resource processing on him, I don't think, strictly because Pyro has all of these skills maxed out, and yanking these skills out of Pyro and putting them into Skunkmaster, I think would be a negative benefit, because it would cost me a fuck ton of money. I can just leave him on Pyro and do that. So Pyro will be the raw resource producer. This guy will be my industrialist, and then Pyro and TDK Trader will be my combat guys. So anyways, the other option was to finish up the series, which is basically where we are currently at 471 million ISK. We take that and we crank that up to I think it's 2.5 billion that we need. That's looking for Flex PZMI. So if we wanted to buy 500, which is what we need, we need 2.3 billion. So we are about 20% of the way there, give or take. So we got a ways to go. We got to multiply our money by 5, and then we'll continue. The last option was to go back to Empire, where we yank Pyro out. So we have 102 votes on the poll. 25% was for cutting bait, staying in 0-0 and doing that. 32% wanted us to go back to Empire with Pyro and leave these two here and do fobs, abyssals, and Triglavians. And 42%, or 40, a little bit more than 42 of the 100 of you, wanted to see the series finish. So we're going to go ahead and finish the series. Now, this is going to be a little dull-ish. I will try and not make it too crazy dull. But, you know, there's only so much I can do with what I'm given. So we are going to be doing exploration from here on, starting tomorrow. There is no difference between, in fact, it actually may be right now. Let me look. I don't think it's yet. Local, no, it's not yet. So starting tomorrow, we will be in, what do you call it? Delayed local. And what that basically means is everything will be 100. Why did I even do that? I mean, I even have to do that yet. Yeah, there's no reason to do that. All right, go ahead and gobble those back up. After tomorrow, delayed local means you won't be able to tell who's in local with you. It's just like a wormhole. So there are good and bad things about that. The good thing is people that are attacking won't know if there is somebody in the system with them. The bad, and so they'll have to scan. The bad thing is it's going to be just like a wormhole, and that means it's going to be a lot more dangerous. All right, so we're going to go ahead and head to TWJ. That is the only other option, and we're going to move.
Warp drive active.
Now, my goal is going to be, we have to make, let's see, 2.3, so we'll see, we have to make 1.8 billion ISK. And I would like to make that as fast as possible. So I'm going to try, let's see, if we do 200 million a day, 1.8 billion, 200, that'd be 5 plus 4, that's 9 days. Oof. Oof, that's a fucking beat down. How many systems, do we even have any in here? No, we do. All right, so we have a couple options here. We're gonna go ahead and check out 442. I'm basically using 100% dot land to kind of navigate, and we're just gonna browse around in Brave space and see what we can find. Now, I can use the agency to kind of make things a little bit easier. You can see 442 does have something. N7AC, 9ZF, is there anything in Z9? What concerns me is we're looking at 26 jumps away for these, and that's where we're starting to see stuff. There might literally be nothing in here. And if that's the case, this is really gonna suck a fucking dick. So I'm hoping it's not that bad, but it's looking like it might not be good. There seems to be a drastic lack of sites here. All right, ignore results. Go. All right, we're gonna go ahead and double tap, and then we're gonna go to the Citadel and sit and deploy. There we go. It's a nice thing about having friendly space is you can just go sit on an Astros or something along those lines while you scan. And you don't have to worry about anything. I don't know if you can actually get killed while being tethered. Am I actually tethered though? Yes, okay. I don't know if you can actually be physically killed while tethered. Like my character's, you know, doesn't have the most hit points. So if you could do, let's say figuratively 2000 DPS, you could kill me before I could get healed. Before I could get run over by a hill, before I could heal. I don't know if that's actually doable. I know you can bump people out of tether range and then they get killed. So I'm thinking maybe as long as you're tethered, you're invulnerable, but I don't know that for sure. I know that there is a very slow heal, not very slow, but there is a heal time if you dock up. And the really cool thing is these things will actually heal your drones inside your drone hangar bay, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. But yeah, we are fixing to have a whole different type of 0-0. By losing local, you're gonna have to spam the D-scan the whole time you're doing everything. And I mean, that's not too problematic. The issue really is just gonna be hot dropping is going to be nasty because, and what hot dropping basically means is You have a cloaked scanner who jumps in system. That's a combat site, wouldn't give a fuck. Let's see, we are in 442. So let's see, is 9Z? I guess I can pull these up and look. 9ZF8. Okay, so this one does have one. What about ZN? ZN does not. All right, so let's go ahead and jump through Stargate to this one. We'll take one.
Active.
What was I saying? Ah, yes. The stealther, the Black Ops. So there's two types. There's two types of like hot dropping. Hot dropping one is when you have a like a covert ops frigate or something small that can stealth. So this character, you know, is invisible 99% of the time, and then only is visible when they are deploying drones and things along those lines. And so because of that, they're impossible to see unless they deploy drones or something along those lines. Now, once they deploy drones, or not drones, probes. Once they deploy probes, they are visible. Results. So you can find them on the D scan. So for instance, right now, I can pull up Alt D and I can set this to, you know, you can see all of these things that are on the radar. Well, the problem is, I don't know who's friend or foe here. You know, so I can get Rex off my overview. I can get all this stuff off my overview, which is what I'd switch it over to combat and then scan. And then that makes it a lot easier to see for the most part. So you can see core scanner probes. So I know somebody's scanning here. Well, the flip side is this range right here is only out to 14.3 AUs, right? So what you can do is you can, instead of deploying the probes, you can use your directional scanner as a shotgun. And what I mean by that is like, okay, so let's see, angle 360. You can reduce your angle in certain directions, and then you are scanning, if I recall, from the direction of your ship. So the way I was always taught, and this may not be the case anymore, is this little circle, which used to be a square, is where you are scanning out with your D-scan. So for instance, if I wanted to scan this anomaly right here at 5 degrees, we're gonna actually ramp that up to 15 degrees. There's nothing there. So I know there's nobody at that haven, right? And then I could scan. Now that's assuming it's in range. It may not be in range. I scan this haven, nothing there. And it's hard because, again, you're on a very narrow track. So you have to make sure you get it perfectly aligned. But anyways, while cloaked, you could do a bunch of scanning there. And then once you figure out which one they're in, you don't even have to deploy probes to find that guy. Because he's at a sanctum, or he's at one of these warpable objects that doesn't require scanning. And so you just warp there, invisible, land on top of him, and then you scram him, drop a Sino, and your buddies jump in and rape him. And there's nothing you can do. Literally. Zero. Zilch nada. And it gets even worse in, you know, systems that have maybe something floating around. So like, for instance, back in the day, and this isn't the case anymore, I think there are still some remnants floating around, but not like there used to be. POSs, player-owned structures, were not what they are today. They weren't space stations where you docked. They were these giant dick-looking towers that floated in space, and then there was a shield around it, and inside the shield was safe, outside the shield was not, and people could leave things floating in space. And so, like, for instance, you know, you might not be able to keep all of your ships in a container, so you would put your, you know, you'd have your shit floating in space basically, and then you just warp to that ship, jump out of your ship, jump into that ship, and then you're good to go. Or if you got blown up, you could warp back to your pods, jump into your other ship, and go from there. So there was a lot of stuff floating in space at any given point in time, and all that shit floating in space would show up on your D-scan, and you can actually see that little shotgun that I was telling you about, how it works. My question is, does it move? Okay, it doesn't seem to move. Let's do a scan again. Okay, so they changed that. So back in the day, that's weird. Okay, now it's moving again. Okay, so it does work. Okay, yeah, okay. That's fucking weird. Okay, so see how I'm moving around again, just to show you guys. See this little circle? That is how you pinpoint. you know, what you're wanting to scan, and you can go from there. So, anyways, I didn't think it was moving at first, and I was like, holy fuck, how do you even do that then? But it is, so we're all good. Where were we all? Okay, yeah. So all the other things floating in space are false positives. So you get comfortable thinking you're okay, and then, you know, somebody lands on you. So true smart hunters in stealth ships are going to be able to land on you without you being able to do anything about it now. 100%, nothing you can do. Assuming you are at non-scannable sites. Now, if you're doing scannable stuff, oh god, I'm drowning. If you do scannable things like I do, where is it? Warp out? There we go. Okay, let's just go to 442. Structure, Stargates, warp to 442. There we go. If you're doing data sites, relic sites, gas sites, combat sites that you have to scan down, anything that you have to scan down, you will be safer. That's it. That's in quotes. You'll be safer because they will actually have to deploy probes to find you. So a lot of people in 0-0 and a lot of people in you know, just general are not used to using D-scan. They don't know how it works. They don't understand, you know, to do it, number one, and you know, you get lazy over time. And in honesty, if we're being 100% truthful, we want to go to TWJ. People get lazy, you know, and in all fairness, 0-0 is the safest space, or was up until recently. It is the safest space around. So how are you going to counter losing this ability? Well, there's a couple things. One, you can compress. So everybody can hide in the same system, or same group of systems, you know, 3 or 4 systems. So if somebody gets tackled, then your Doom Squad shows up. And if your Doom Squad shows up, you fuck everybody up and everything's fine, right? You might lose a ship or two, but you know, the people who do it, they're going to get a bloody nose as well, right? All fair and game. Well, that means you're going to have to also group everybody up, which means there's going to be more scarce resources, right? So you're going to have more people running those combat sites that you run, more people mining, more people doing this and that. And at the same time, you're also making a bigger target because, you know, you got a lot of expensive stuff floating around. Another opportunity is spread out, right? So right now, a lot of stuff in 0-0 is already kind of condensed. You know, as we saw that while I was doing my series, you know, there's a lot of shit where there just wasn't anything going on. You know, we go into system after system after system and it's just fucking empty. Nobody's there. You know, that happens. All right. Let's do friendly. Let's go to the Fortizar. I just want to warp to then.
Warp drive active.
Shit. Drop. Did we get him out? We got him out. Perfect. So if you expand out now, these guys are going to have to scan you down. As long as you're not doing, you know, warpable 2 stuff. As long as you're, you know, doing scan stuff, which again is not the vast majority of things that people do. Most people, you know, those sites that I clicked ignore that you don't have to scan down that you can warp to, that's where a lot of money is made. But if you're off grid, you know, they got to deploy and they got to hunt you. If you use a D-scan, they got to, you know, you can see it. People are not going to want to go through each system and scan each person down and hope they don't see them. And while they're doing that, you know, you have a chance to react and to dodge them, to dock up, et cetera, and it just is going to get exhausting. Because, you know, when they jump into a system now, there could be 50 people in that system or 0. Now, D-scan will tell you, for the most part, which systems are active. You know, now some of these systems are big and you have a 14 AU D-scan max. So if your system is 150 AUs across, dude, you're going to have to, you know, do a little bit of warping. You're going to have to warp to one signature, scan here, warp to another signature, scan there. Kind of bounce around the system so you cover everything. And then once you've covered it, then you'll know, okay, there's probably 2 people in the system. And then you have to start the scanning process. And you have to be careful because, again, you know, as long as those probes are out, he knows you're hunting him. If there are no probes, then he has no idea. So you're going to want to use D-scan to knock him down, find out what site he's at. or what low area of space. That way you deploy your probes real quick, do a scan, hopefully get a location, and then pop his ass. So it's... Whoa, no, shit. God dang it. Clear all ignored results. These are the combat sites I'm talking about, by the way. Okay, ignore other results. There we go. That's what we want. So, I don't know. I think on some aspect it's going to be good because it is definitely going to make 0-0 less safe. You know, there are a lot of people that have gotten used to 0-0 being a complete, safe, money-making farm that they can just do whatever they want. No repercussions. Not to mention the bots, dude. I mean, Eve is so easy to write a bot for. I actually thought about writing a bot for it myself, not for profit, but I was learning Python. I'm still learning Python, and I thought about doing it because it would be, not from the aspect of I want to fuck Eve over and abuse the system, but more from the standpoint of I'd like to write something that complex and see if I can make it work. It wouldn't be anything I would ever use long term. It'd just be one of those things like, oh shit, I can make it work. All right, cool. All right, delete it. You know, well, not delete it, but you know, put it on a private GitHub repository that I could later show to a potential employer. not distribute widely or anything along those lines. But you get my point. It's not a hard game to. It's not like Destiny, which would be something that would be hard to make a bot for because there's so many randoms. It's in a 3D world. There's a lot more to it. This is mainly just and again, I'm oversimplifying, but it's an interactive spreadsheet. You know, some basic rules. You know, is local blue? If yes, continue to fight. If no, you know, warp to nearest safe location, etc., etc. So it does make it easy to do that. Well, now they're going to lose that opportunity. So there are certain parts of space that have hundreds of bots that run 24/7. They're fucked because they're not going to be able to see it coming. They do not react well to PvP. And, you know, this is possibly CCP's way of, you know, causing a major impact on that. Because it definitely will. It will literally shut those guys down because they can't operate anymore. You know, the only way they might be able to operate if there was a way to sniff packets. Like, for instance, if the Eve client sends people's packets to you, even though they're not visible in system. That's how Dark Age of Camelot radar used to work for anybody who's ever played that. You might not be able to see somebody, but because you were near somebody, the game would render their stuff, and by rendering it had to send you packets, and those packets allowed your computer, if it was listening for it, to know that somebody was there, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Got our first data site. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I was beginning to think I was just going to have to talk all night long, and the game was going to fuck me in butt. So yeah, I don't know what we're going to do, because with this change, it is going to be very scary to do what I do out here, because I'm not going to be able to see people coming. And, you know, you guys have seen how much money I have in my inventory at any given time. And, you know, this is one of those situations where, yeah, I think this is going to be too hard for us to scan. Yeah, so, well, it's a level 5 site. There's no way we're going to be able to scan down. Not with our current skills. Nope. Not going to happen. I'll probably be able to get it to, I'd say, about maybe 60%. Yeah, because if you guys remember back before scanning, I had some of these skills unlocked, because, you know, I couldn't let that site go, and we've lost access to those skills, which in turn has lowered our scan resolution and all that stuff. So yeah, and that was for a tier 4 site, the one that we tried. So what sucks is this site probably has 50 to 100 million ISK in it just sitting here, but because I'm limited to a alpha client, I'm not gonna be able to touch it, which is a shame. Oh well. Is what it is. We know where it's at. Let's see, we're in 4 MPSJ. We don't really have anywhere else to go but in 7AC. So it's literally a pipeline and a highway at this point. So we'll hop into the next system and see what we got. But yeah, with this change to local, which I believe happens tomorrow, either at downtime or at some point in time during the day, this weekend is going to be wild. It's going to be, I think my favorite quote on Twitter was somebody said this is going to be like the Purge for Eve. And if you've never watched that show or aren't familiar with it, it's basically a period where all laws are suspended, all crime, including murder, is legal, and everybody just loses their shit and goes and fucking, murders each other, stabs and rapes, pillages, steals, whatever. And it's supposed to be, the idea behind it was supposed to get people's animal instincts out on one day a year so that they would, be a better human the rest of the time. It's a horrible system and a horrible idea, but it's kind of similar to what's going on here because, come that change, there are a lot of PvPers that are convinced this is going to make the game better. They're going to be able to finally find targets, and that it's going to change everything, and, blah, 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 blah. For me, I think it's definitely going to hurt the average PvEer. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are very upset about it. I think it's going to drastically hurt some of the bigger blocks bottom line, because you got to realize, they get 3, 5, 10, whatever percentage they get in taxes on some of these PvE sites, and especially with some of the botters and things along those lines. That's a lot of money. We're talking billions of ISK that it's free. It just comes in, and that's gone. I mean, not gone, but it's going to taper off this weekend. Mining ops are going to become very dangerous all of a sudden, and I guess the good news is if you're a small ship, you're probably not going to be worth most people's time, but I think we're going to have some pretty epic, large-scale kill mails and fights this weekend, and I think we're going to see some ISK just vanish in fiery explosions. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. There's going to be a lot of people who are not going to read the update, have no idea what's going on, think they're safe, undock their super, and they're going to get tackled, and it's going to be an interesting weekend. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how all that plays out. There's a lot of people that are saying this is the end of Eve. There's a lot of people saying this is the beginning of Eve. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't think it's either. I think we're going to have a happy medium somewhere in between. So, I don't know. We'll see. We've been going on for about 30 minutes now, and we have not found a single site. Part of that is because we're near the major hub. What level is this? Does it tell me? It doesn't tell me yet. We're near the major hub of Brave, one of the two. I'm going to start heading in the general direction of one of the other hubs and see if I can't. Actually, I think I may move back towards Faithabulous, because that's test space. There's a data site. What level? That's 3. We can get this one. Probably move back towards Faithabulous because we know we made some good money there, and it does seem to be a slightly less populated region. So we'll see. We're gonna see what we make off this site. I'm hoping for a nice 25, 50 mil. Please, please, please. At least this one's scannable, right? There we go, and drop her all the way down. Hook a brother up. And Badushka. All right, you go back in. Let's go. All right, folks, I'm going to clean this site up. We've been going for about 30 minutes. I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me do all of the... This will take 20 minutes or so. Maybe I've gotten better. Either way, don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me do all that. We'll pick up. I'll show you guys what the financial value is. We'll go from there. Well, we failed at one of the systems. Most of the loot was absolute shit. We did pull 15 million. One of the cases had like 27,000. The other one had like 5 or 700,000. So God only knows what was in that one. The first one, every single node I popped was a healing node, and then the second one, every node I popped was the one that reduced your ability to attack from 25 to like 10. So I popped one of them, knocked him to half health, went around him, was going to hit him again, and then I opened another one. And then at that point, it was like, well, fuck. I got to find a node. And then it was like another one. I had 6 of them on screen. It was just like, wow. Okay. Not meant to get this one. So anyways, our haul for the first night, garbage, 15 million. Hopefully we can do better on the next night. But tomorrow's also where it's going to get interesting, and I'm going to stay out here doing this. So no reason to go back and dock up for 15 million. So next time we log in with this character, it's going to be dealing with a delayed local. So wish me luck. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for supporting the series. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you guys are still enjoying it. If you are, let me know by slapping that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next clip.